Young and the Restless spoilers shock next 2-week update, full 9/9/2024, 9/20/2024. Audra Charles felt a surge of pride and excitement as she entered the room with Nate Hastings by her side. It was the first time they were officially being introduced as a couple, and despite her reputation as a cunning and ambitious player in the business world, this moment felt personal. Nate had stood by her, and now they were a united front. As they approached Devon Hamilton, she expected perhaps a brief moment of awkwardness. After all, Devon and Nate's relationship had been strained for a long time, but nothing could have prepared her for what happened next. Devon's gaze was cold and dismissive, his smile thin and forced. Pleasantries exchanged between them felt hollow, and it wasn't long before his true feelings came to the surface. "Audra," Devon said, his tone laced with disdain, "you're certainly full of surprises, but I have to wonder, does anyone really know where you come from, or what your motives are?" The words stung, cutting deeper than Audra had expected. She had known that Devon wasn't her biggest fan, but to hear him speak with such open contempt in front of Nate, in front of everyone, was humiliating. She could feel the judgment in Devon's eyes, as if she wasn't worthy of Nate's love or trust. Devon made it clear that, in his mind, Audra was nothing more than an outsider, someone with questionable loyalties and an unclear past. The insinuation that she wasn't good enough to be Nate's partner hit her like a blow. Nate, sensing Audra's discomfort, immediately stepped in. His eyes darkened with anger as he turned to face his cousin. "Devon, where do you get off acting like you're better than everyone else?" Nate's voice was sharp, barely concealing his frustration. "Since when did you become the judge of who's worthy? Audra doesn't need your approval, and neither do I." The tension in the room was palpable. Devon, always proud and fiercely protective of those he cared about, was surprised by Nate's defensiveness. But it was clear that Nate wasn't backing down. The air between the two men crackled with unresolved conflict, years of family tension, betrayals, and misunderstandings bubbling to the surface. Audra, though deeply hurt by Devon's words, maintained her composure. She knew this wasn't the time to lash out. Instead, she placed a gentle hand on Nate's arm, signaling that it was time to go. As they left, she couldn't shake the feeling of inadequacy that Devon had stirred within her. There was no time to dwell on it. Nate was with her, and they would face whatever came their way together. Meanwhile, across town, a different kind of tension was brewing. Lily Winters was growing increasingly impatient. She had been working closely with Victor Newman, pushing him to act quickly on their shared plan to take down Billy Abbott. With Jill Abbott expected to return soon, their window of opportunity was shrinking. They didn't move fast, the entire plan could fall apart, and they would lose the advantage they had been building for months. But Victor, as always, remained calm and collected. He sat across from Lily, expression unreadable. "Lily," he said in his deep, measured voice, "you need to learn patience. Rushing this will only create more problems. We don't need to fear anyone. Not Billy, not Jill. When the time is right, we'll strike." Lily clenched her fists, frustration mounting. "We don't have time, Victor," she argued. "Jill will be back any day now, and once she is, there's no way we'll be able to pull this off without her finding out. If we want to remove Billy from Chancellor Abbott, it has to be now." Victor's eyes narrowed slightly, but he remained calm. "Let Jill come. I'm not afraid of her," said confidently. "In fact, I welcome the challenge. You're letting your emotions cloud your judgment, Lily. We'll take Billy down, but we'll do it on my timeline. Don't forget who you're working with." Lily took a deep breath, knowing that pushing Victor too hard would get her nowhere. He was one of the most powerful men in Genoa City for a reason, and if she wanted to see Billy out of Chancellor Abbott, he had to trust him. But every day that passed felt like a missed opportunity. Her anxiety was growing. While business and betrayal unfolded in one corner of Genoa City, love and heartache were playing out in another. Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson had been spending more time together lately. And though their history was complicated, connection between them had never truly faded. Adam couldn't deny the magnetic pull he felt toward Chelsea. And she, too, found herself wondering if perhaps they were meant to be together after all. But with so much pain in their past, both were hesitant. Did they really make it work this time? Would their love be enough to overcome the mistakes and betrayals that had defined their relationship for so long? One evening, after a particularly emotional conversation, Adam and Chelsea found themselves on the verge of something more. The tension between them was undeniable. For a brief moment, they allowed themselves to imagine what it would be like. They gave their love another chance. But just as they were about to take that leap, the weight of their past pulled them back. Could they truly trust each other again? Or were they doomed to repeat the same mistakes? Unbeknownst to Adam, someone else was watching closely. Sally Spectra. Ever since their complicated relationship had ended, Sally had been keeping an eye on Adam, waiting for the moment when he would come crawling back to her, asking for forgiveness. Sally had always been patient, but now that Adam and Chelsea were growing closer again, her patience was wearing thin. She wasn't willing to let Adam slip through her fingers, not after everything they had been through. Sally's heart ached with a mix of jealousy and resentment. She wanted Adam to beg for her forgiveness, to admit that leaving her had been a mistake. For now, she would wait. She had learned long ago that timing was everything, and when the right moment came, she would make sure Adam knew exactly what he had lost. As the days passed, the city of Genoa buzzed with rumors, schemes, and emotional entanglements. Audra and Nate were left to pick up the pieces after Devon's hurtful comments. Lily's frustration with Victor simmered beneath the surface, while Adam and Chelsea navigated the complexities of their renewed connection. And all the while, Sally watched from the shadows, waiting for her chance to reclaim what she believed was rightfully hers. In a city where power and love were constantly at odds, no one knew the future held. But one thing was certain. No one would emerge from this tangled web of lies and emotions unscathed. As the days stretched into weeks, the Abbotts were left with nothing but questions. Where was Diane? Was she truly sick? Or had something else driven her to disappear? Would she ever return? Or was she gone for good? For Kyle, the uncertainty was unbearable. He couldn't shake the feeling that he had failed his mother, that he had pushed her away when she needed him most. He prayed every night that Diane would come back, that she would hear his pleas for forgiveness and give them a chance to heal as a family. But as the days went on, hope grew harder to hold on to. Jack, too, was struggling. He couldn't lose Diane again, not after everything they had been through. He had loved her for so long, and even now, despite everything, that love hadn't faded. But without any way to contact her, without any way to know if she was safe, Jack felt powerless. The truth about Diane's disappearance remained elusive, hidden in the shadows of Genoa City. Was she truly sick, hiding away to protect her loved ones from the inevitable? Or was there something else at play? Something darker and more sinister? Only time would tell, but for the Abbotts, every day without Diane felt like a lifetime of unanswered questions, breaths, and heartache.